are located outside the abdominal cavity. Why?
Achha, okay. So we, in the previous class, I believe we have completed the human reproductive system, human male reproductive system, right? That was completed. Now today we have to start with the female reproductive system, human female reproductive system. Right? Just like how in the male reproductive system, there's, you can say,
Ma'am,
the
for
prime.
male reproductive system, we didn't complete the notes.
Notes were done, but I was done teaching
Like,
you, right?
yeah, until the glands, that's all we did. Notes.
Notes were left, okay? You'll write it today, but I'm continuing to teach, okay? The female reproductive system.
Yeah.
So, when we talk about the female reproductive system, just like how in the case of human males, there is the presence of the primary sex organ. Same way in the human females also, there's going to be the primary sex organ present. Just 1 second. When we talk about the human female reproductive system, the primary sex organ here is the pair of ovaries. Pair of ovaries means two ovaries are present, again located or situated in the, you can say, abdominal area or lower abdominal area. And the gamete in the case of human females is the ova or the egg, right? Which is synthesized by the ovaries every single month. Now, apart from that, the primary sex organ being the ovaries, they also release certain hormones that are associated with the formation of gametes. They are associated with keeping the female cycle keep on going. Clear? So, talking about the various parts of the female reproductive system, a pair of ovaries is there. The duct system in the case of human females is called as the oviduct or a fallopian tubes. They are also one pair, meaning two of them are there. Then there is a sac-like structure, pouch-like structure called as the uterus, which is also known as the womb. Then comes the cervix, ultimately the vagina. So these are all the various parts of the female reproductive system. Now, if you see in this picture, here you see that this structure is the ovary. Okay, the almond-shaped structures, those are the ovaries. Arising from them, this part will be called as the fallopian tube on the either side. Now, the fallopian tube further has been divided into three parts. This is called as infundibulum. Okay, then there's the ampulla. And we have the isthmus. Okay, so three parts are there in the case of the oviduct. Now, what is the function of oviduct? Basically, after every ovulation, meaning the release of ovum, this infundibulum that is there is like a funnel shape. Okay, and you know the ends of which, if this is a funnel shape like this, the ends of it has finger-like projections. Okay, and this is what we call as fimbriae. Okay, so what they do is that once the egg is released, they sort of catch it and move it towards the entire length of the fallopian tube. Clear? Now the two oviducts that are there, they are going to unite together at a common area, right? Both of them, when they come and they unite, they form a common area, this whole space, which is called as the uterus or the womb. It is sort of like an inverted pear shape. Okay, the shape that it is used to describe, like normally pear is like this, isn't it? Inverted pear, they're saying, so you twist it downwards. So that becomes the shape of the uterus or the womb. Clear? This much is clear? So the two oviducts, they unite and form an elastic bag-like structure called as the uterus or the womb. Now this is the organ in which the shape is inverted pear, and this is the place wherein the fetus would grow or the fetus would develop. Okay. So it has this property, or it is made up of these kind of muscles that have a lot of stretchable power in them. They can stretch a lot. That is why as the fetus or the baby develops, the uterus expands alongside. Okay. Then the uterus, it opens into the vagina through the passage called as the cervix. And this, you can say the canal or the canal of cervix is called as cervical canal. Cervical canal. Okay. And when we talk about the cervical canal, so cervical canal along with the vagina. Okay. Along with the vagina, these two structures together is called as the birth canal. It makes the birth canal. This is from where the normal birth would take place. Clear? Furthermore, every female is born with several immature eggs. Now, as soon as the puberty gets reached, these immature eggs, they're going to get mature. And every single month, one matured egg is released for fertilization, for fusion. Clear? Any doubts regarding any of the components, anything you have a doubt in? Okay. Now, we have studied the reproductive system, both of male and female. Now, after that, what we're supposed to study? We're supposed to study the transferring of the gametes, because in order for the fusion to take place, in order for the fertilization to occur, the gametes, they have to be transferred, and then only they can fuse, like they have to be brought together physically, right? So the sperm, they enter into the vaginal passage during the sexual intercourse, which is also called as the sexual act, also called as the coitus. So during this, the sperms from the male's reproductive system gets released into the female's vaginal passage. Now, you know that the sperm has a tail present and it has a fluid in which it can swim. So with the help of that tail, the sperm swims towards the egg. The egg is going to stay here only. The egg is not going to go anywhere. It's going to stay here. Okay. And the sperm is going to reach that area, that ampulla area of the fallopian tube. Now, once it reaches the fallopian tube, you know that the ovum cannot move from here and there. Why? Because it is non-motile. It doesn't have any tail. It doesn't have any flagella which will help it to move about. So the sperm has to move towards the egg. Now, remember, like for example, if this is the egg waiting, okay. So whilst the sperm is released in the female's reproductive tract, like it's like thousands and thousands, in fact, millions of sperms are released. But only one of those sperms, like for example, many sperms, they swim towards the egg, multiple. But the one that is the most, you can say, fittest out of them all, the one that is the fastest out of them all, they reach the egg and fertilize it. Meaning, the nucleus, you know that there's a nucleus in the sperm head and there's a nucleus in the egg. So the nucleus of the sperm and the nucleus of the head, they fuse to form a diploid zygote. Yeah?
What if two sperms join?
That's not possible. Why? Because as soon as the first sperm reaches the egg, okay, the egg has certain chemical receptors on it, as a result of which it will, like for whilst the one sperm is reaching it, it has the gates open. Imagine like that. As soon as that one sperm reaches the egg, the gates close so that any other sperm could not come and fertilize. Clear? Okay. So that is the case. So What is fertilization? It is the process of fusion of the male gamete, which is called as the sperm, with the female gamete, that is the egg, so that they can form a diploid zygote. So if they are forming diploid zygote, so the sperm and the egg would be, what would be the ploidy?
Zygote.
What will be the ploidy? Ploidy means the number of sets of chromosomes that they're going to have. How many?
That would 46.
हाँ तो one pair ना, meaning they are haploid. And 46 is two pairs. 46 is two pairs. 23 plus 23. See, what I'm trying to tell you is that always remember this, no matter what, no matter which class you go to, the egg is going to be haploid plus the sperm is going to be haploid. So when n plus n is going to happen, then only the diploid zygote is n plus n is equal to 2n. So here n means 23 chromosomes, not 23 pair. 23 chromosomes in both of them, 23 and 23. Clear? And then can you tell me what will be the number of chromosomes in the zygote?
23 pairs.
23 pairs, meaning 46 chromosomes. Clear? So that is the case for a diploid cell. Now remember, always remember it as a rule that no matter what happens, the gametes, they're always going to be haploid. No matter if, so you only tell me what will happen if the gametes are not haploid. What if they are diploid?
Then by every generation, the number of chromosomes will increase.
Hmm?
By every generation, the number of chromosomes will increase.
For every generation, the number of chromosomes will increase, and that will make the whole entire offspring only unstable. Isn't it? The whole entire situation will become unstable. And ultimately,
Yeah.
after the reproduction is done, the offsprings that are created, they have to be exactly like the parent. Isn't it? In terms of the genetics. Like for example, if the parent was diploid, the offspring would also be diploid. But in this case, first, if it is 2n plus 2n, so the zygote will become 4n. Further, 4n plus 4n, the zygote will become 8 and it will keep on increasing so on, which will disturb the stability. Yeah. So this was about the fertilization. Now, after this zygote is formed, now further more and more divisions will start taking place in the zygote, and from the zygote, embryo will be formed. Okay, the next stage that the zygote goes under is the embryo. Okay, and what happens is that during this time, two possibilities are there. If, for example, if this is a zygote, many times while it is, this is zygote, and further inside the zygote only several divisions take place, and 8 cell stage, 16 cell stages changes, and the zygote becomes the embryo. Now, during this time, if the zygote gets split into two parts, then two, you can say, offsprings are going to be conceived, and they are going to be identical. Okay, this is how identical twins are made. Understood? Zygote splitting into two, and both of them are going to further develop into the embryo and get implanted. Implanted means get attached inside the uterus. So that's going to be the case of identical twins. Then what about non-identical twins? How do you think they are formed?
Fallopian tube releases one egg.
Fallopian tube releases two eggs. Not fallopian tube. Ovary releases two eggs, right? And both the eggs get fertilized by two different sperms. So then that forms the non-identical. Okay, clear? They are called as fraternal twins. They're different. Now, after the embryo has been made, now slowly, the embryo, for example, see this. For example, this is the fallopian tube beginning. Okay, and initially the fertilization took place over here. Then as it starts moving towards here, the zygote will become the embryo. Now this embryo will come to the uterine level and get attached over here. This attachment of the zygote into the muscles of the uterus is what we call as implantation. So the embryo, after being formed, gets attached or embedded onto the uterus or the wall of the uterus called as uterine wall, and that is what we call as implantation. Understood? Is it clear? Any doubts? So in the uterus, the embryo will continue to divide and it will keep on dividing and slowly with time will start forming organs. It will start forming the whole entire individual. So if you see over here, this is how it happens. The egg, this is the egg that is released from the ovum, okay, and it is in the fallopian tube. Now the sperms, they enter, like insemination takes place over here. Insemination means release of sperm inside female reproductive tract, okay, female reproductive tract. So whilst this is happening, now the sperm, it starts to move along towards the egg. It's not just one sperm, all the sperms move, but only one is capable to fertilize the egg. See, all of them surround the egg like this, okay, but head of only a single sperm enters inside, just like how shown in the figure. And then it's like a block so that no further entry can take place and only one sperm will be fertilized. Then the fertilization process takes place and the zygote is formed. Clear? This is how fertilization happens. Understood? So this is the process of fertilization. Okay? Any doubts? Anything you want to ask me? So while you will be noting down, you note down this, you draw this also. Okay. You don't have to draw this very artistically, but you draw roughly so that you will understand what the whole entire concept was about. Okay. Anything you want to ask me?
No.
What is the last thing you've written?
Uh, Spermatogenesis. Yeah.
Spermatogenesis. All right. You note down. Then we'll move forward and see the next stage.
Map, can you scroll down, please? What's acrosomy? Acrosomy?
It is a cap-like structure which sort of protects the sperm head.
Map, can you scroll down, please? Map, can you scroll down, please? Nothing further. Okay, it's the napkin is called out. Napkin is called. Scroll down. Hmm, done. I'm done. Man.
Okay, any doubts up until now?
No.
Okay, so up until now, we have seen the fertilization process, we have seen the implantation process. Now, after all of this gets completed, then the slow development of the fetus takes place. Now, remember one thing, the newborn baby, why, like before being born, okay, when the baby is inside the mother's womb, so that we won't call it as a baby, we call it as a fetus. Okay, fetus, while it is developing. Now, the embryo gets the nourishment from the mother's blood with the help of a very special tissue called as placenta. It is also called as the temporary endocrine gland. Why? Because it releases a lot of hormones that are responsible for the continuation and the whole entire pregnancy period. So this placenta, it is a disc-like organ which is embedded, which is sort of fixed in the uterine wall. It contains villi. Villi means finger-like projections on the embryo side of tissue, meaning towards the embryo, it forms a finger-like projection. On the mother's side, there are blood spaces present. So whatever nutrient, whatever oxygen that has to be sent from the fetus to the, like from the mother to the fetus, it takes place via placenta. Okay, and the cord that like sort of connects the fetus with it is called as the umbilical cord. Clear? So every, you can say, food substances, energy substances, hormones, oxygen that pass from the mother to the embryo. The developing embryo will generate waste material also because the whole entire metabolism is happening. So then that gets removed by transferring them into the mother's blood through placenta. Okay. So this right here is a picture that shows you how the fetus is connected to the placenta, wherein this baby is what we call as a fetus. The cord-like structure which connects the placenta with the fetus is called as the umbilical cord. It connects to the belly button of the fetus. And then the endocrine, the temporary endocrine gland, which is a disc-shaped structure, is what we call as the placenta. Clear? Understood? Now, the whole entire time period for which the human pregnancy would last is called as, in general, the time period for which the pregnancy lasts is called as the gestation period. So the gestation period is different for different animals. Like for human beings, it is 9 months. For cats, dogs, elephants, it is different time period. So for every organism, the time period varies. So the time period
Will
for
the
which the pregnancy...
will the fetus die if we didn't take it out of the stomach even after 9 months?
What?
The fetus die even if we didn't take it out after 9 months.
The fetus, what?
Will it die if we didn't take it out of the stomach after 9 months?
No, it will not die, but a lot of severity, a lot of problems will happen because the pregnancy only lasts for 9 months, not more than that. So a lot of complications, a lot of like you can say problems will take place, and then surgically the fetus has to be forcefully taken out. Okay, because the longer it stays there, now it's not good for the fetus. It has been developed. Now it has to come out.
My
Now,
friend,
whilst
he
the
was born. My
what?
friend was born after 10 months.
10 months?
Yeah,
Who was born after 10 months?
one of my friend.
Your friend?
Yeah,
10 months? No, that's not possible. He must
he
be
only said he
bluffing
born
you.
after 10 months.
10 months? That's a lot. 10 months is not possible. Nine after the, it's not that exactly the 9 month hits and the fetus comes out. No, it might take 2 to 3 days extra, but that's all. Not 1 month extra. No. No, he might be saying rubbish things to you. That's not possible. How is he alive then? That's not the case. See, now whilst the fetus is developing during this 9 months, initially the heart is formed. The first organ to be formed, heart is formed. Slowly, the nervous system is formed. Then the hands and feet and all of these developments. And then after fifth month is completed, the fetus starts moving around in the uterus, starts moving, showing movement. Signs of movement tells us that the fetus is healthy. If the fetus is not moving, it is a very, you can say, troublesome. Clear? Understood? Any doubts?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now you
Mm,
draw this part and then you'll write. And after that, we have to discuss the birth of the child and then the reproductive health associated with the like various kinds of diseases associated with reproduction. Okay. So now you draw this part. You've understood the whole entire developmental thing?
yes. And then,
All right. Okay. So let's just keep it till here only for today's class and we'll continue in the next class. Okay. Anything you want to
okay.
ask me?
No.
All right.